Welcome to the Adam and Simon Show's interview day. Today we have Mitch Robinson, Mitch Robbo Robinson.
Famous for RobVLOGS.
Yep.
Famous for Rip Through It.
Yep. Famous for being an angry footballer.
Basically, he's actually famous for playing for the Brisbane Lions. Prior to that, he played for the Carlton Blues.
Yep.
He's a gun.
He's played more than 200 games. He is new media. And if you want to check out Robbo's RobVLOGS yourself, head to YouTube. They're super easy to search for. They're all the behind-the-scenes content for the AFL. There's amazing access. He takes you on like road trips. He takes you behind the scenes of training. It's really, really cool for anyone who loves a bit of AFL content. So check out RobVLOGS on YouTube. Check out his Instagram, @Mitch Robinson.
Find him on Twitch.
Oh, mate, you can find him absolutely anywhere. We had heaps of fun chatting to Robbo, so we hope you enjoyed too. All right, let's bring him in now, Sim. The enforcer in the AFL, Mitch Robinson. Mate, how do you like that for a title, the enforcer?
I've heard it a couple of times. Actually, it makes me feel a lot tougher than I am. So I've got all these tough stickers all over me. I've already got the 10% toughness, so if people start throwing that around, it's better than be called a wanker. So I'd rather probably that than that one.
I mean, I feel like they'd be closely tied though. If you're strutting around Lions camp going, "Hey guys, I'm the enforcer," it's very closely tied, isn't it?
You got to speak it into existence though, because Reece Matheson, our teammate, he called himself the beast mode and the barometer, and that kind of stuck. So you just got to keep like putting little seeds in people's heads, and if they start thinking it, then it's not my fault. That's coming from you, not me.
Stop calling me the enforcer, guys.
Stop it, guys. I don't like it.
I hate that one. Like any good nickname.
We had Isaac Rankin on last week, and he has the magician in his Wikipedia article, and he said he really liked it as a nickname, but he had to pretend that he hated it, so people would keep calling it, but he said it never stuck. So
that's very smart of him, reverse psychology. But there's a lot of magicians in the AFL, so you got to stand out a fair bit. The Wiz Farmer.
Yep.
We got our own teammate Dane Zorko. He's a magician. There's so many magicians. I wouldn't want to be called that because it's just it's not natural. I want to be called the enforcer. That's what I would love to be called. So I mean, no, I hate the enforcer. Don't use that.
Well, speaking of Isaac Rankin that we had on last week, Robbo, you have a free right of reply. We asked him, does he hate the Brisbane Lions? And he said flat out yes. So how do you feel about the Gold Coast Suns?
Oh, mate. No, I actually don't not like them. So I'm trying to sit in the fence here because we're trying to get a rivalry, yes, and it's great for AFL Queensland if there is a natural rivalry. So I'm not going to push it. There's obviously some players I don't like in that camp and past players who've played there. But I think it's as they're getting better. Last week was a great example. Like, they're getting better as a team. It's great for the Q clash. So in a short answer, no, I don't like them. But in a more expandable answer, I think it's great that there is a little bit of rivalry starting to build because we can talk about that kind of thing happening. But if there's no actual real contest, and it's kind of like, well, who cares type game. So it's good that they're getting a lot better, and I think the weekend showed it that they're on the rise.
Adam, do you want to tell Mitch exactly the words that Isaac used? Because I feel like they're pretty brutal. The finals.
Oh, if he's trying to throw shade, I'll throw straight back.
He's trying to throw shade.
I'll DM right now.
Yeah.
He's a fellow monster. He's a fellow monster athlete, so he couldn't be talking about me.
Sure. No, he probably wasn't talking about you then. No. He wasn't. Are you going to say it then? You're going to drop it?
I was just going to say he was like, yeah, they're a really nice team, blah, blah, blah. But then they always choke in finals.
Oh, geez. You can't be saying that when you're not getting there. Easy for him to say.
I like
easy
that.
for him to say.
I like that. Hey,
I like him.
Oh, no, you go.
No, I'm saying I like him. I like the way he's copped his flack over a little bit of his career, and his upside's way bigger than his downside. So it's good to see him getting a consistent spot in the team. Unfortunately, Star set a number on him again on the weekend, but it'd be good to see him keep doing well, and he's playing the team role, which is really good to see. So I was going to say, good on you, Isaac. I'll see you next week because we're doing a little campaign together. So I'll have a crack at him then.
Yeah, exactly. Do it in person.
Watch your space. Yeah,
the enforcer versus the magician. There you go. We've written your thumbnail for you, mate. It's perfect. Perfect. Does it differ too because you played your early footy at Carlton? Like, they have big rivalries with with Richmond and Collingwood. Like, they're selling out the G. Versus when you go to Brisbane, it's a bit harder because there's not that maybe community. Well, they got the fans, but they don't have 100,000 seat MCG to kind of really hammer it.
Yeah, it's crazy. My first game, I played in front of 95,000 people. Was round one. Yeah, it was round one versus Richmond. I know. I was like, I've got ADHD, so that was going off its head that game. It was Ben Cousins' return, and it was obviously against Juddy, so they were ex teammates at Eagles, and it was like those guys playing off against each other, and it was just like that kind of stuff. We got drilled into us to hate Richmond, to hate Essendon, to hate Collingwood. Like since I first got to the club, because the writings are pretty much on the walls. Like that just goes so deep and so long back. The history there. It's really easy to buy into that kind of rivalry with every team. So yes, it's tougher in Brizzy, that's for sure, because we're only one club in the surrounding suburbs, whereas in Melbourne there's like 8 teams. So it is hard to put bums on seats and that kind of stuff. But we've got some great players who are doing that at the moment. With Charlie Cameron, Lachie Neale, Dane Zorko, like the list goes on. We're a really exciting team, and we play a good brand of footy. So that's probably the one thing that we can kind of hang our hat on, that if you come to one of our games, it's going to be pretty fun game to watch. So it's hard to break into the Victorian market and the WA and all that kind of stuff. But I think we're going in the right direction for sure.
Are some of the older boys a bit flat that you're not going to get play at the brand new Gabba when they knock it down and build it up as like a new sick stadium? Yeah,
I can't wait to see what it looks like. Obviously, so I got promised a new stadium when I got up here, like a new training facility. So that was 8 years ago. Like in all the talks and all the players that have come to as well in the past 5 or 6 years have been promised like, oh, we've got a new training facility. It's going to be schmick. It's going to be all this and that. They just got to get built. So we got promised those things, and it's finally here like this year. So I think we're in the new facility in September. So I don't know where we're going to play games. Like that's the only thing we don't, because when obviously you touched on like the Gab was going to get knocked down and redeveloped or whatever it is. Yes, I'll be flat with that, but I can't play for another 10 years. That's not my fault. It's just my body's not going to be allowing me. But a new facility, new training facility would be elite. So the boys get that end of this year. So if I've spent 8 years up here and don't get to play or train in that or anything next year, I'll be
just one bench press.
I'll be camping at the front of my car and be like, hey boys, can I get a swipe to get in, please?
Free gym membership. Yeah, exactly right. Surely that's a footy thing. You get free gym membership for 5 years.
That's what I'd say. If you're a 100-game player, like, who cares about the name of the locker? Just give me free gym membership and let me hang out with the boys just in my off time. That'd be great.
Something tangible, mate. You've been there for a long time. You've been there 8 years, ages. What? Yep. How much longer do you want to stay there? Or are you waiting for Tassie team to launch and then you can come in, the enforcer named as the Tassie's new first captain?
Little skipper.
I'll be 50 years old by the time they get a team down there, that's for sure. No, I'm very passionate about the Tasmanian stuff, but on the Brisbane Lions thing, I'm only contracted to this year, so we haven't even really spoke to the club about what the next year looks like. I've been in and out of the team this year, which has been a little bit tough and a bit of a kicking the balls to the ego and stuff. But, when I get my shot to come back up, I try and put my best foot forward and play my brand that I think it stacks up in really big games and in finals footy. So for me, it's just being thereabouts. Fags has been really great for this team since he's got up here, and we've built an awesome relationship. He's been a Tassie boy. We kind of instantly fell in love straight away. So we really bonded off the start, and I've had complete faith in what his message is and how he wants to go about picking his 22. So I can't get too upset about that. I'll just have to go to the VFL and play my best footy, which I was doing, and come back up and try and do the best I can up here. So I'd love to play again next year, the Lions. If that doesn't happen, then I'll probably listen to the manager, who's been talking to me a little bit about other interests and stuff in other states. But the Lions is where my heart lies, and I'd love to play another year up here. If that doesn't happen, then I'm not going to be crying about it in the corner or anything. It's just got to get on with life. So I've got that kind of stuff ready to go just in case. But, we've got 4 games left and hopefully a big finals campaign. So I'm just trying to do everything I can here for the Lions.
Fags is famous for his long walks where he calls everybody. When you get what time of day is he calling you? And you're like, mate, I'm just going to screen this one. Or do you always have to answer?
So, believe it or not, I hate phone calls. Like, I don't answer mum, dad's phone calls, anyone's phone calls, and Fags knows this. So, he'll prank me first. Like, won't go for very long. So, I'll be a little bit of like a ding, ding, then he'll hang up. And then, if I call back or not, I usually text him and say, what did you want type thing. Am I dropped? Am I playing? Like, let's get to it. But he will call you like any time of the night. So I'm presuming that he's probably on his walk around Balimbo where he lives down there. He just walks for hours on end, and he's always deep in thought. And he said like he might forget something he might forget to call you the day before, and then so he'll just call you the next night, which might be, as I said, like 9:30. Like I'm putting the kids down to bed or whatever it be. I was like, oh, sorry, I missed your phone call, mate. What did you want? Type thing. And he'll just be like, oh yeah, you're in or you're out. So. That's where he's at. He's so deep in the thought sometimes, like he won't even notice you're there. So, it's a crazy talent to have. I don't understand how he can be so focused on nothing but everything at the same time. So yeah, that's big Papa Fags.
How does that match up with you? You mentioned before ADHD pinging off the roof on the 95,000, and then you've got the Zen Master himself. How does that kind of bond go together?
Oh, it's a love-hate relationship. I think it's more love from my side than his. But he knows he's a teacher by trade, so he really knows how to talk to the players in all ages as well, which is good because we've got a majority of a young group. I think the average age is 24 to 25, and then me, Zorko, Richie are the oldest ones there. So I just try and if he's like deep in his thought, I'm a bit of a shit stirrer. I'll just try and annoy him and get him to smile or just crack something annoying. So that's just my role in the club. I don't know if it's everyone loves it, but the boys certainly. I'm probably not everyone's cup of tea at 7:30 in the morning when I'm like, woo, I'm like pinching people, annoying people. But that's my job at training. I'm pretty much in my contract that says you got to be up and about for training, so everyone else comes along. So
vibes.
It is tough sometimes, but shout out to Mother again.
So how do you go, or how do all the older boys go with relating to the younger fellas? Being that. Like the kids who are getting drafted, like Darcy Wilmot and Kyle Loma and all the young fellas, they're like 18. They're a genuine generation or even 2 generations younger than some of the older fellas. Yeah, they're babies.
The best thing about the footy club is because we're mostly interstate players. So we've created a really good culture here in terms of, I guess, being able to bond with those guys. So because we can't go hang out with our own mates because no one has any, it's pretty much just a footy club and they're partners. That's what it is, like up here. We tend to do a lot of things together. So we might go out for dinner. Our door's like literally a revolving door. The boys will come through whenever they want, get a haircut, ask for that stuff, hang out with the kids. Chancey boy's the same as his dad. He's got ADHD. He's pretty crazy too. So the boys come around, we play basketball in the backyard. I'm always on the RobVlog stuff, so I've got the boat for some of the weeks, and I take some of those guys out. It's all about really getting a good relationship with those guys because when they come straight in, they might get homesick straight away because they're not from Brisbane. What do they do here? It's hot as hell up here. Like they don't know much like what to do. So we early days get a good little relationship going with them. They put him in with like probably a couple of the senior boys like Hugh McCluggage, who's boring as batshit. He won't go out and run a muck or anything. He's kind of that mature dad type figure. And you got Harrow, the big dork as well, who will look after a lot of young kids coming through. So early days I used to take on a first year every time just so I can kind of show them because now I just do nothing. I just sit at home and edit videos and do whatever. So play video games. So I've always wanted to kind of invest in younger blokes, and it's a really good culture up here. I can say that much.
Is that part of the thing that you enjoy about becoming an older player? Is that you get more of that responsibility to shape what these guys, the career that they're having, I suppose? Yeah, definitely. When I was drafted, I had Eddie Betts as my mentor. I moved in with him my first year, and he was really good for my growing as a human and stuff. Him and his partner Anna used to. Well, I never had. So my mum's Jehovah's Witness, so I'd never had a birthday cake before I was 18. So my first year when I lived with them, they got me a cake and I was like, okay, cool, what now? Like it's like kind of it's still to this day is like a birthday's an empty feeling for me, unfortunately. So Emma has to do all the groundwork with the kids, go out and get the presents, the cake and do all that stuff, and I'm just rocking up like, another birthday, that's another couple $100 out of the bank, let's go. Yeah. So the thing is, when I got drafted, when I got up to Brisbane, I was kind of I was like 25, had a kid, so I've got 3 children now, and I feel like I'm a bit of a role model for some of the younger kids in terms of what footy outside of footy looks like, having a good work-life balance. Because early days I found out if you're all footy, you just consume yourself on that, and you think about it too much, and you're worrying about your game, you're worrying about what the coach is thinking. Oh, my body's a bit sore, I've got to do all that kind of stuff. So when I leave work, I just switch off from footy. That's my time. I might sit in the car for about 10 minutes and just have a little sook to myself if my body's sore, or I can't be bothered going inside because I'm so buggered, and I've got the kids there going, Dad, let's go shoot basketball, let's go play footy. I'm like, well, I've been doing stuff all day, but okay, let's go. So I have about 10 minutes to myself, and then I've got this little hideaway in here. As you can see, it's a pretty good setup where I'll just come into the cinema room and just kind of just have my own time. That's where that's at. So,
well, you said part of that balance is editing videos, and obviously the behemoth that is RobVLOGS, the YouTube. Everybody should go and subscribe. If you actually, I mean, I'm a big Brisbane Lions fan, but as a side note, for anyone that is a footy fan, if you're looking for behind the scenes footy and like what goes on week to week, subscribe to RobVLOGS. It is some great behind the scenes content.
Yeah.
Where, like, have you always wanted to do like YouTube, or like not always, but since YouTube blew up, have you always wanted to do that behind the scenes content?
Yeah, about I reckon it was about 10 years ago. I did a similar thing to RobVLOGS, but it was like a day in the life of. It was called Robbo's Modern Life. I don't know if you guys remember Rocco's Modern Life, the
Yes.
cartoon show. So I kind of just stole that title and changed it to Robbo's Modern Life. It sounded pretty cool to me. Anyway, I did
it's not bad.
It's not bad, yeah. So I did a bit of a day in the life type thing and went to a game, when we played Carlton and did all that stuff. And it got the worst feedback. Like I think I had like 30,000 views on it, but the boys were just hating on it. Like I was cooking dinner and dancing and stuff like that. Like being myself, but like I was just ahead of the time back then. So I pretty much just changed a little bit of it, try to get behind the scenes. So I tore my calf in probably like late last year. Yeah, before the finals, I tore my calf against Freo, and I just thought, like, why not just have a GoPro on, just film like what rehab would look like for a week or two, and see like what the response would be. And the club really loved it, and they gave me full reign to film as much as I wanted, and it kind of just grew from there. Like I just took it with me with the finals campaign, and I was getting a lot of views and a lot of feedback saying this is great access. Like we haven't seen this behind the scenes, a bit of raw stuff that you probably wouldn't get from the footy club itself. So it's kind of opened a door for a lot of people. I see even on my YouTube, I see like other clubs like Collingwood doing it with a Jack Ginnivan. He had the GoPro after the game, and I know he copped it for that, but from then on, it's kind of grown. Like Hawthorn are doing it, and they're doing like giving the GoPro to a young guy, and they do a weekend trip away or whatever it is. So a lot of clubs are doing it, and I think it's great access for fans alike. I'm trying to make it as much as not solely just Brisbane, but look beyond the logo. So this is what like most footy teams are like that. Like great culture, everyone gets around each other, has a lot of fun, a lot of training, but it's more so that the players are actually people. They're not just like robots. They actually have a fun life when they go to the club, and it's not all doom and gloom. So obviously you got to be winning games to try and promote it.
Helps.
Not you don't want to be getting pumped every
I'm
weekend.
a Kangas supporter, and if they did anything, the supporters would rip him. Get off the bloody editing. What are you making videos for? Why don't you kick footies?
Yeah. What are you doing up at 9:30 at night? You should be out there kicking footies.
Correct. Why don't you go to bed, have a rest?
My
It's
God.
like, guys,
Mate,
you
I've
can
had
do
it all.
other things.
I've had it all.
What are we talking about?
The actual response for the RobVLOGS has been crazy. Is why I'm still doing
unreal.
it. Yeah, it's been really humbling as well, because when I run out on the ground, I don't think people even know it's Robbo. They just like RobVLOGS. Like the whole crowd will say it. Like our supporters and the other, like everyone's coming to getting photos for RobVLOGS. It's got nothing to do with me, which is kind of one I want to build. Cool. I'm never on the camera really. It's usually the other boys. So I'm just a guy with a GoPro on my chest. That's just my role.
Is there are there any YouTubers that you like watching? Because I mean, this stuff it's really boomed this year. Did you watch any of the Matisse Thibault stuff when he was in the bubble?
That's what someone sent me that. I wasn't really on YouTube watching other vlogs or anything like that. People have started sending me it to like now, like the Matisse Thibault when he was in the not Olympic camp, one of the camps, an Australian camp.
Yeah.
Olympic camp. Yeah, they sent me that stuff, and that's all pretty cool. It's like different to what I'm doing.
Totally.
Yeah,
yours is very raw
like,
and
he's got like the fancy camera and like kind of like talks a lot more. So with that kind of stuff, I don't really watch anyone else to be truthfully honest. That's not me being ahead of myself. I think I'm better than everyone else. I just think that what I'm doing is working. Obviously, I know other people who are doing vlogging and stuff out there. I do watch that. Like I watch a lot of content creators for like gamers and stuff that I like. Obviously, I'm a bit of a nerd behind the closed doors, but yeah, I don't really watch too much. I just kind of watch my stuff back. It's kind of like doing a footy review. So when we do footy reviews, like you watch it back and you're like, oh, I could have done it better there. I could have got a better angle. Why didn't I switch the GoPro on a little bit earlier and film that, or give some insight to why I was doing that training and stuff? Like my brother always watches it, and he's my biggest critic. He'll say, Robert, that's shit. Oh, don't put that on there. Or like he would tell me, oh, that's really good. If he says it's good, then it must be good, because he's pretty stern with me. But yeah, it's kind of work in progress. I've got a few other ideas I want to do that will kind of change the layout of it, but pretty much I just enjoy just doing it really for fans.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I'd imagine there's a lot of guys out there who consume a lot of content, and then they're like, oh, I might do that. Yep. But then because they consume so much, what they make kind of turns into, which is why yours looks like the way it does, because it just comes from your head. You're like, I'll just do it this way. It's not based off anyone's.
Well, that's the thing. Bringing it back to the ADHD, I start a lot of projects that I don't finish. I start one thing, I'm like, oh, fucking, I'm so infatuated with it. I'm passionate about it. Then something else will pop up. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I love fishing now. I'm going to do fishing all the time. Like, I just can't, focus on a lot of stuff. So, obviously, I've got kids now. So, when I get home, if I've filmed all day, I'll quickly whack it on the hard drive, chuck it on the computer, put it in a folder, and I'm like, that's the Gold Coast edit. And then I'll come back to it later when I've done the stuff with the kids. And then I'll just like sit in here. You know, I've got the nice mouse and keyboard, and the setup's pretty crazy. And I just come in here and do my thing. So instead of me video gaming all the time now that I don't do much as often, I've got to feel that with other time. And RobVLOGS gives me kind of like an outlet to just focus on something, and that's my little creative space now. So I'll do that until I get hooked on something else, and then we'll see what that is.
I like that.
How long does it take to edit, and like where did you learn to edit videos, or did you just teach yourself?
Yeah, it takes a while because I can't give away too much IP, and there's some things that the players might do in the footage that they probably wouldn't like on there, so I've got to be careful with that. Say, if someone's like, if I'm in the change room, like I'm filming some of the boys do stuff, there could be someone nude in the corner that I'm not really watching, so I've got to like scan all the footage and make sure it's all good and they're not saying anything they should be saying, because I think I put up a video of me pinching all the boys in the gym the other day, and there's a lot of swearing in there, and the club got a couple of emails from fans saying, oh, Robbo shouldn't be swearing so much, all this kind of stuff, and the club was like, Robbo, like obviously we don't, we thought it was funny, but you just can't like have the boys swearing so much on there, like with the F word and a C word all the time. And I was like, oh, that's fair enough, because we're in their gear, like the Lions sponsors gear, so that's the fans speak for that. So I was like, yeah, no worries, that's cool. I'll just bleep some of this shit out. So that's what I thought at the time. But editing a video, it varies, because I was doing like between 20 and 25 minute videos, and they'll take like a few hours to do. But now I'm just doing like between 10 and 20 just to save a bit of time. And all the analytics and stuff with YouTube and podcasts, like, they come in at the start and they watch it for a bit and then they drop off, and they might come back and watch it again. So I've got to try and make sure I keep me captivated. And if I'm enjoying watching it, then they would. So that's the way I work with it.
Yeah.
But to answer that, I started doing skateboard videos back in the day when I was a little hooligan, little run-amok kid. I was a skateboarder, and I was a bit of a punk as well, so I had tight black jeans on back in the day, and I was editing all our skate videos and jumping into trees and all that jackass stuff. So that's what I was doing.
I could definitely see that.
You definitely won't remember this, Robbo, but I definitely remember. You were at a 21st birthday that I went to in Tassie one time.
Let's go.
You were a full-blown celebrity. This is when you were at the Blues. Yep. The girl's name was Tatum. I don't know if you remember Tatum.
Cox?
Yep,
that's Tatum Cox-Lyden. Yeah, I remember. I went to school with her.
There you go. Yep. So there you go.
How was the 21st?
Yeah, how was it?
Pretty good. We came down from Melbourne and like rented an apartment. There was a whole group of us because it was my mate's also his 21st.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so a joint one.
We all came down and got absolutely buckled. It was
that's what I do.
So loose.
That's what I do. That's
and
my
I
thing.
just remember walking around and everyone was like, "That's Robert from Carlton. Why is he here? This is so weird.
Bleach
Why
blonde
is he
hair
here?"
and his moon tan.
And you were much taller than everyone else that was there.
Oh, let's go.
That's
so
all
I'm 6'1", but everyone says when they meet me in person that I'm like smaller than what I look on TV, because obviously I got like the no neck type thing. Like everyone thinks like I got no neck, but I just like when I run, I'm so like
shoulders up,
just charging through. So when I meet in person, like, oh, you look like you're like 95 kilos. Oh, you just look bigger than you are. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm still 90 kilos. Like I'm not miniature, but I'm not like
6'1", 90 kilos and can run fast.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got to run long distance.
I'm not an athlete here, mate.
I can't be a rugby player. I can't be like 110 kilos and run like 2K a game. I've got to be a one of those athletes. But I do. That happens to me a lot, especially younger days. I either I can't have 2 beers. I've got to have 20 beers type thing. I can't. If I'm going to drink, I'm going to go hard.
Like that.
And it's still kind of. I only drink like 3 times during the season, so I sporadically pick my times when I do it, and I let loose a little bit, but within the confined 4 walls of my own house.
Shut the doors, kids.
Yeah.
This isn't good.
Who runs or who's sorting out the Lions postseason trip?
Yeah.
And is it the same person every year?
Yeah. That's the thing. We don't do that anymore. That's the most depressing thing about AFL football. Like Mad Mondays and stuff are weak as now. We used to go all out at the Blues days. That would like be probably the best weeks of your life, the first week, and then would go overseas after the best and fairest. Would go to you go to Mexico. We went to Mexico a couple of times, like LA, Vegas. Like those trips are really cool. I went to Vegas when I was 19. I had Sauce Jacobs ID. And he Sammy Jacobs dogged me. He didn't come to the flight, so he must have like gone on for surgery or something and didn't tell anyone. So I went over there with no ID, and I literally had my Aussie ID and scraped the number on the back to like make it 1988 or something like that. I think it was something like that. So
awesome.
Yeah, so that didn't work at half the places, but actually when I was
Worked at the other half.
half the places, but half the places was good. If you there's 20 blokes, and I think if you're chucking $100, I don't really check any identification. So nowadays we just literally have a catch up, and the boys keep catching up like throughout the week. We'll like say, oh, we're going to the pub on a Tuesday. Come down to the pub, or we're going here on a Wednesday night, which would be like uni night or whatever it is, and then we'll catch up, and then everyone kind of goes their own way. I don't think there's been any chat about off-season getaways yet. I know there's a few blokes 21st who missed out during COVID time, so I think Vegas is definitely like, I've heard that around the traps with my boys. So I've been banned from all overseas trips without her chaperone, which is Emma. So if I get to Vegas, then she'll be there by my side. So I'll be a good boy with that. But yeah,
At least you don't have to scratch out your license this time, though.
Exactly. So that's what it looks like.
Marcus Adams looks like the strongest bloke in the world. Is there anybody you think in the league that if they ran at each other...
Or run straight.
Yeah. So you've got two blokes running it, well, one bloke running at Marcus Adams. Is there anyone that would be able to knock him over?
Yeah, I think I could, honestly. I could probably, well, that's my title. Like, what are you trying to do, Marcus? Take it off me.
I mean, stop calling me that.
He's one of the most attractive human beings I've seen in my life. And he acts like he's not, which is the best thing about him. He's very humble, but his body is literally just carved by one of the gods, one of the Greek gods, and he knows that. I think he knows that, but like he's acting like, oh, no, not me. But he's definitely a movable object, so I don't know. There's a lot of players who might look like Tarzan and play like JM, but he's actually a tough player. So he's I don't even know who runs through him. I think most blokes would try. That's like I know I would. I'll probably come off and eat shit, but I'll still have a crack at it. But he's a very strong human being, that's for sure.
Is there much interaction between the Lions and the Broncos?
No, not really. Our physio that we've got now, he came from the Broncos. So there's a few NRL fans getting around. Like Charlie Cameron's a massive one. He's a big nuffy. He always slides in everyone's DMs, and he knows all the Indigenous boys in the league. So he's one of them. Jack Payne, the big defender we have, he's obviously a Queensland boy, so he knows a lot about NRL. And I think like Zorko and stuff, he's like a multi-facet sports nuffy, so he knows a lot of stuff about everything. So I reckon there's about 10 blokes who watch NRL. Like Matho watches it. He's mates with the Bronx boys. I've had a couple of nights out with them. They go pretty well. So
within the
four walls of my house, when I go out, when I go out this door into the living room,
when by go out, they come.
Yeah, but Brisbane's pretty small, so if you do go out like to Felons or the Valley. Yeah, you try and stay away from the Valley. The Valley's no good at the moment. It's actually pretty sketchy, so I'm not going near that place. But yeah, no, we don't cross train or anything like that because they're a totally different sport to us. So I think the only thing we could take from them is some tackling technique, and even then it's still different because we're coming from different directions. They're going like straight at it. So yeah, but I reckon they could learn. Yeah, right. Richie goes down every now and teaches them some kicking techniques. So he'd be the only player on our team I reckon and Charlie maybe could play rugby right now if they tried. He'd be great.
Put Charlie on the wing.
Yeah, Charlie with his speed and stuff, but he gets snapped in half.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
No, I like him here, so.
That would not be great.
In one whole piece, he's quite good for the Lions. Oh my God. Zach Bailey, star of the RobVLOGs.
Yeah. What's going on?
On the RobVLOGs, he doesn't come across as the most intelligent bloke in the world. Without putting it what I'm saying. Yeah. Can you dispute that? Like, is he a secret Rhodes Scholar, or is it he does what he says?
I love Zach Bailey. He's a Darwin boy.
He's my mum's favorite.
Yeah. I generally
love
the kid. He's so funny. He does come across as dumb. But I don't think he is.
I didn't say it.
This is out of my mouth. But I don't think he is. That's the thing. Like, he's pretty switched on. He went to boarding school in Adelaide, so he's pretty switched on in that regards. He's got an investment property here. Like, he's got a nice house and stuff with his missus. So I think like he might portray that he's a bit of a dead shit, but I don't think he is really. So in meetings, when he first got here, he slept a lot. He's like that guy he'd be asleep but his eyes are open in meetings and stuff. So he wasn't always paying it full attention. But if he got pulled up or something, he'd just like, oh yeah, and then something would spark, and then he would just like know what it is. But like he just seems really docile sometimes. But that's not actually. I don't think who he is as a person. I think he just puts it on a little bit to get away with stuff.
That is one thing I've noticed about the RobVLOGs. The young guys at the Lions, all about it. They love it. But anytime there's an older guy who gets caught in the camera, they're like, piss off, Robbo. Get this out of my face.
Yeah. You can tell on the camera, like, there's a lot of boys who, it's a facade. Like, I'll be honest, like, Joey Danaher loves the vlogs. He's always, like, turning around, like, don't, Mitch, don't. I don't want to be in it. Yeah, but he's like, he's always lingering around me. I don't know why. He's always there. So, there's Dane Zorko's another one. He's just always wanted to be on the camera with his stupid glasses he wears at training. You've probably seen him in some of the stuff. But Jared Lyons, he's always right next to me, always doing something. So he's always kind of like trying to like sneak on there. But yeah, as I said, Bailey, he's probably I've made him who he is today, I'm pretty sure. He always goes, oh, where's my share of the RobVLOGS, bro? I'm not getting any money for this. I'm like, mate, no one knew who you were before the Collingwood goal. And then I still made him who you were. Like, no one knows who he was until he reckons he goes to clinics and stuff or before and after the game. Everyone's going, oh, can you please do the yo-yo-yo for me? Do the yo-yo-yo intro for me. And he's like, I'm fucking sick of it. I'm getting it all the time. I'm like, mate, it's you now. It's your persona. So run with it. So he acts like he doesn't like it, but he loves it.
He loves it. He definitely loves it. What are you going to do future-wise for... Because you've got RobVLOGS, you had the podcast, Rip Through It. You've got your Twitch stream as well. Is that the kind of the next push for you? You're just going to go all in creator?
Yeah, there's definitely a side where content creation could be something that I could do. It's actually crazy. To be honest, and this is not just being a wanker, but I make more money off field than on field at the moment, which is something that I'm really passionate about going forward. Like when I got cut from the Blues, I wanted to be a player manager straight away. If I didn't get picked up at a club, I really want to do that. So I'm passionate about like marketing players and making sure they can get the most out of their career, and off field I think is a big avenue for revenue for those blokes who aren't really tapping into socials or whatever it may be for them. Obviously it's pretty hard, a lot of restrictions with the AFL protected sponsors and the club's protected sponsors. So we can't go get a car deal because we're sponsored by Hyundai, which is one of those things that you got to kind of dance around. But I love getting deals for the players, so I try and do, like I've got boxes of shit here just from people who send stuff that I don't really need, but when players ask for things, I try and...
Nice. It's nice to have.
Yeah, well, there's a laptop there, brand new laptop. There's like clothing and stuff but it's like, it's one of those things that I love being able to do. And a lot of the boys hit me up to get them some deals that might be, football related or off field. So that's something that I'm definitely going to do. And a bit of media, obviously, as well. That's something that I'll try and tap into. Maybe a bit of boundary writing or radio or something like that. But athlete/player management is something that I'm really keen on.
Are you seeing more of a change in the AFL landscape to like more allowing you guys to do that? We were talking to Isaac about, even something as simple as doing like the NBA do with their walkouts, how they, they snap the guys walking in and whatever their clothes are, and then players can kind of showcase that. Is that something that you're seeing is changing? Players are allowed to do a little bit more. TikTok's there. It's kind of Jack Ginnivan's going.
He's going bonkers on there.
He's doing his thing that everyone hates, but. Not
everyone. Collingwood love him, and then I think everyone else.
I think
everyone else other than Collingwood. I think it's still pigeonholed. I think pigeonholed, maybe you can say. I think that the media want players to show personality, like they don't want them to be robots. Like they're giving us such bland answers. How are you meant to work with this and all that kind of stuff? And then as soon as someone pops their head up, they try and cut it off. So I think that's still tall poppy syndrome, or just giving them another reason to hate on someone when papers probably aren't selling. Everyone's kind of leaning towards negative articles or clickbait type media, which does my dome in. So I think that it's always going to be like that, because not that Kane Corns the bell, because I actually respect Cornsy. I like some of the stuff he says. He says it how he sees it. He might overstep some shit, but I think that he's trying to be honest. But it's a lot of other people who seemingly forget that, they were footy players. So I'm talking about like ex-players who are in the media right now. They'll forget that they might do a turnover, or they might do a free kick against, or they might stuff up once on the weekend in their careers. They forget about it straight away, and they go on the negative side of things instead of being positive. So I think the landscape of players being themselves is very tough, because we don't have the avenue to do it. Like RobVLOGS is cool because I can show the players and other stuff. TikTok's cool because a lot of fans can jump on that. And I think streaming, which I've been game streaming for about 3 years now, that's another way to connect with fans, and they can talk to you. And never, when I was growing up, would you be able to see your favourite player and like type on the keyboard and say, "Oh, hey, Robbo, what's going on?" And they reply straight away with like, "Oh, what's going on, mate?" Like, there's none of that when I was growing up. So I think it's growing, but there's definitely some room to move where, if someone shows who they are, it really is a person, to not just shut him down straight away like they did with, Ginnivan when he had the GoPro or all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's definitely learning experiences there.
Well, I think the good stuff that you're doing is, because yours is probably a little bit more extended, like with the streaming, you get the full context of a thought. You can't clip it, because you've also got the platform. Like if they clip something from a stream, you just go on another stream and say, well, this is what happened.
Show it.
Like you can see the whole context, so you can't shorten it down, and you can't kind of stitch people up like that, which I think is really cool
yeah.
for the players, especially. They get their
exactly.
say.
Well, when you're doing interviews, especially if you're just face to face and they write articles, they can just kind of change the context or add in quotes that probably actually don't necessarily mean what you're talking about in totality. So I think when you're doing live stuff, it's really cool because they can just see it and then they can respond straight away, or they can clip it, but then they have to show what we were talking about before it, which is something that I really think is a good move going forward for sure.
How long's the rat tail going to go, Robbo? Because it's starting to get there.
Whoa, look at that.
We've got it down to about the middle.
So,
of the
look, I'll be honest. I'm not a massive fan of it.
What is
Emma and
the kids,
everyone's everyone's having a say about it, and I think it's funny. And so I started in Christmas, right? And I was like, I'll grow it till first game, and then we'll just cut it off. But it was so small, and then it shot out like a few games in, and now it's just pretty like down to my neck type situation. So I'm going to cut it off probably more towards the end of the year. So when it's the last game of the home and away season, or potentially finals, wherever it may be, I'm going to cut it off and try and raise as much money for charity for Lifeline Australia. So I've got that set up ready to go. So whenever that week comes up, I'll be calling on you guys to give a little plug and clip this Adam and Simon show. So it did start out as a bit of a meme, but I think I can grow awareness for some stuff that's pretty close to home and get some money for a well-deserved cause. So yes, it's annoying people, and Mum hates it, and my partner hates plaiting it, every second day, whatever it is. So it's annoying as hell, but I think it's for a good cause now. So I've kind of found a means to a memey end.
And it makes you look like you're running fast because you've got the flow.
I was trying to get some free high kicks with
nice little
exactly.
It's nice
got to get the flip,
like a little exhaust pipe.
Correct.
It's not quite it's not quite the mullet of Harry Sharp or of Kai or anyone.
No, it's not up there with those guys.
It's just a mini version. Just definitely a mini version.
Not quite. Hey Robbo, what do you think Adam has to do to become the number one ticket holder of the Brisbane Lions?
How have I got to rip it off Linny?
That's a good question. Because what's it based off? That's what I want to know. Is it based off social media presence? Is it who you are, or is it what you've been on, or all that kind of stuff, or is it because you're a big fan and you're attending a lot of events and games and recognisable? Is that what it is? Because I don't really know. I know
it's probably just
Abby. Is it Abby at the moment for women?
I think it's Abby and Chris Lynn.
Okay.
So I think it's just general level of importance, and it turns out playing cricket for Australia is a little bit higher than whatever.
It's probably going to pip the show.
Yeah.
But
Tell them about the podcast. Have they seen this?
Has he ran a marathon though? That's what I want to know.
Correct.
I haven't either. I did a half.
Yeah.
Look, a half is a sort of half. Like I didn't say what marathon it was. I said, have they done a marathon?
Yeah. Well, See, Linny hasn't
is
done
half
that anyway,
50k? So. How much is a half?
I did 21.1 on no training for 6 months.
Let's go. Hey, put the effect in there with a clapping noise.
Yeah. Put that in it.
I don't think I could do that.
What? How many Ks are you covering in a game? You do?
Yeah, so 13 between 12 and 14 Ks. So it all depends on game time. Ours is more like long distance type running, obviously, but I think our high speed's around like between 1.5 and 2 Ks. So that's when you're hightailing and fanging around. As a winger, I'm literally running hundreds every game. If you're on the fat side of the wing, like the other side of the ground with no players, I'm just going. Ball goes on forward, turnover, other one, turnover, run. So you meant to do like anything and everything, and these old 3-year-old legs aren't getting any faster. So I'm trying to run smarter, not harder at the moment. That's where I'm at.
Are there any wingers that you line up on, and then you're like, we're going to be running so much?
Like Harry Sharp. Harry Sharp in pre-season. So Harry Sharp was like a Victorian, Australian cross country. He runs like the 3K in 8:40 or something.
Yeah, he's a freak. He's disgustingly good at running, and that's what And he's putting on weight now, so his time's coming a little bit slower. He arrived at the club like 60 kilos, so now he's putting on a little bit of footy weight, which is good, but he's still amazing. Like he just smashed the 3Ks. Like you wouldn't even bother trying to run against him. I don't know why he even does a 3K because they just know that he's a freak and he's fit. For me, it's a lot of shaking hands before the game, and I see after the game type scenarios. So,
yeah, good.
There's a lot of fit bloke. They're putting a lot of fit blokes on the wings, obviously because that's the role. But at the same time, you need someone who can win a good contest and can compete early for their defence. So, you might have a really fit guy, but you can physically get him in other areas. So that's why I'm out there. And I used to have Hugh McCluggage out there with me, but he's been pushed in the midfield and he's doing a great job this year. So it's me and Jay Berry at the moment. So I'm not the best runner.
Huey's only pushed into the midfield so he can actually get an All-Australian jersey, hasn't he? Like that's the
Yeah, I
only
told
reason
you,
that he's
wingers don't
moved
get a
inside.
vote in that shit. It's disgusting. I can't have it. Like, I don't know. Like, selectors, every single time the All-Australian squad or the team selected, I'm just like... You can't put an inside midi out there because they're not getting 30 touches a game. They're just not, unless you're Andrew Gaff. Like, that's the only bloke who can do it. Everyone else plays on ball, not on the wing. Like, it says, like, 2% starting on the wing. It just infuriates me because I know how hard it is for those blokes to get a touch out there, and it's not about kicks, marks, disposals. It's about the patterns you run and the space you create for the midfielders to look sexy. That's what it is.
Those blokes wouldn't last 5 minutes on the enforcer.
Not in my shoes, mate. Not in my, especially in my head.
Put them out on Enforcers Island, they've got no chance, all right?
Bang.
If it was my
Absolute
idea,
bang.
I would let myself run off the wing straight in the centre bounce and just try and clean some up every time. But that's just not within the game.
Yeah. Hey, what's your favourite Lions jersey that you've worn?
And we also, as a side note, you're not allowed to say the Indigenous jersey because we know that Emma has designed that. And
I was going to grab it now, but I'll grab
the Indigenous jersey.
Definitely grab it anyway.
Yeah.
I've got a whole thing over there.
So, as for context for people, Robbo's partner Emma has designed the Brisbane Lions Indigenous jersey. It looks sick.
Oh, Robbo's just wheeled in a full rack of all the jerseys that he's
including his Australia jersey.
Including Australia. Is that Ireland? Yeah.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Robbo here. Now, this is my jumper selection. So, what do we got?
Fit check. We've got a fit check with Robbo now.
So, that's just the obvious one. That's just the OG. I think it's a couple
Fitzroy
years
style.
old.
Yep, the away.
Yeah, the away one. They're all away.
Home jersey.
I can't say that one's my favourite. This one's Anzac Day is actually pretty sick because I won the medal in that. So I'll say that was my favourite.
Nice.
That
that'll
so
do.
hot.
Yeah, that's good. Do you have any of your Blues ones still there?
Yeah, I got them all here.
Oh, yeah, there. Oh, cool.
So it pretty much goes my first game, 50th game, 100th game, in like sign ball the boys and stuff.
That's cool.
Way.
Yeah, that's cool. And then you've got your Aussie jumpers there too. And is that an Ireland one? You must have swapped that one.
Yeah,
huh?
Zach Tui. I don't like him at all, but I swapped jumpers with him, my ex-teammate. So that's Tui's jumper.
Very good.
Oh, mate, that's so good.
No long sleeves. Would you ever rock the long sleeve?
I wore it once and I nearly broke my back, so I'm against long sleeves. And because it's
Just on
not manly
principle.
enough.
Because Charlie Cameron loves to wear the long sleeve. Big fan.
He does. I rate, so some blokes, I'll be honest, some blokes look good in it. Like, go for it, you look great. I said Hughie McCluggage, he should be a long sleeve bloke. I reckon he would look, because we play in a couple places that are freezing, i.e. Tassie, Ballarat, Monaco and Canberra was like, I'm a Tassie born and I was cold. I said,
right.
Huey, if you're going to try and pull it off, it can't be a big night game. It can't be like a Saturday night versus whomever or a Friday night. It has to be like a Sunday, 1:10. No one's going to watch. Pull out the long sleeve, brother. So he said he's going to. He said he might.
Love that.
All right. Well, when we see him in the long sleeves, we'll be like, oh, Robbo's got his mask.
Yeah.
Yep, you heard it here first with Robbo. Hey, mate, we've got a couple of questions that we're going to finish with.
Yep.
It's a little choose your own adventure, and we always cook the introduction to this segment.
Ooh.
So if you don't understand what we're saying, you're like every other guest we've ever had.
I'm sure Ed's got me covered.
Yeah, it'll get you covered.
So
go for it.
We give you 5 options: who, what, when, where, and why.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't tell you the question attached to each of those words, but you pick 2 of them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I just got to choose 2 out of the 5.
Yeah.
Who, what, when, where, why.
So you did get it. So everyone else and Robbo's
Maybe
on
you
our
explain
level.
it better because no one's been getting it. I don't know.
No,
Wow,
but
that's
it's
the
literally
same.
the exact speech that we then people go, I don't get
Do
it.
you want to know what it's? Because this is not a dig at you, but whenever you explain it, people don't get it. But Adam, whenever he explains it, people get it.
This is not a dig at
it's
you,
not a
but you
dig
just
at
can't
me.
explain shit right.
Absolutely.
That said, this is not a dig at you, but
Yeah.
and then it's always
If
going
you
to be
say
a dig at
anything
you.
but and then have
Yeah.
anything after that, you know that's...
No offense.
Yeah, they're not
but
trying to hurt
you're
your
like,
feelings.
oh, here we go.
All right, so
Anyway,
I'm going
so
to
you
choose. I'm going
pick
to choose when and why.
When will Tassie get their own team?
I'm going to say before 2030.
Cool.
Yeah.
What do you reckon they would be called?
Well, I would go OG and just have Tassie Devils. I got to it's obvious, or Tassie Tigers. Oh, you can't have Tigers, can you? Yeah, I'll say Tassie Devils. It's obviously a homegrown name. The under 18s was that, and the VFL team back in the day I played for was Tassie Devils. And I don't know if you guys watch NBL, but the Tassie Jack Jumpers doesn't have a good ring to it.
Yeah.
Mate, the Jack
They
Jumpers
did well.
They did
I mean,
well, so
mate-
it kind of come along with that. So I was like, you know what, that's not so shit after all. I don't mind that. Like and to be honest, the reason I like the name is because I jumped off my shed roof as a youngster and landed it in a net of jack jumpers and nested jack jumpers, and my hand blew up like a balloon. Like, they are aggressive little shits. Like, so there could be a bit of childhood trauma there. That's probably why I like it.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say I jumped off my shed as a kid, so they should be called the Tassie shed jumpers.
That's got a good. I'm not gonna lie, that's not the worst one I've ever heard of.
It'd be an interesting jersey.
Yeah, it could be like Tassie
just-
Matt Wellington or Tassie Colders. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
that's not bad.
Something,
The icebreakers.
I feel like something sea related would work well with Tasmania, like a bit of rough sea situation.
Yeah,
I don't know, like the
You don't like the icebreakers?
like the Poseidon. No, I don't like the icebreakers.
No, that sounds.
Like the like what's like the rough
Tridents.
seas?
Tassie Tridents.
Yeah, the Tassie Tridents, or
Ooh.
like the something with Neptunes or Poseidons or
Okay.
something like that.
Tassie.
I think it's just
Tassie
'cause
Monster
Devils is-
Waves.
There you go. Yeah, Shipwrecks Bluff, bro.
I got like Tassie Devils and stuff tatted. Like I got Tassie bridges and map and stuff all over me. So it's got to be something that's homegrown. It can't be just a random name like Tritons. No offense.
Yeah, no, hey.
And then,
but
But I can get a Triton tattoo. So
yeah,
true.
good. There you go.
And then the why, Robbo. The last question is, why are the Brisbane Lions going to win the Premiership in
I love
2022?
it. Because we haven't hit our straps yet. We're still like thereabouts. We've seen some glimpses of our best footy. We just got to find that consistency and put it together for 4 quarters. So once we do that, like we've got 4 weeks to try and find what our best squad looks like, our team, and how we can put together a 4-quarter performance. Because I don't think we've done it for a while. I'm very excited to see what our best footy looks like, and we know our footy can stack up in finals. You're going to hear that they're going to go in straight sets again, whatever. We play against the grand final teams every year in the finals, so it's not like it's a walk in the park. You're playing against a 7th or 8th team. We're playing against the top 4 teams every year, so we're looking forward to rectifying what the last couple of years looked like. Lost against the Bulldogs by a point, that was devastating. But we're excited for the finals to come, and we're just got to put these next 4 games into our best. I guess they put it in our best.
Yep.
What is it?
Don't know.
Got to go best foot forward.
Best foot forward. You got to use that one. I guess we're going to use the next 4 games to put our best foot forward and go from there. So I'm excited for it. That's for sure.
I've got actually one more question off the back of that. Brisbane have been in the finals for
Last 3.
years. And like deep. You're going
Yeah.
deep. You finished top 4 the last 3 years or so. When you get through the season, is there a bit of season fatigue because more than likely you're going to be playing finals? So like it gets to June
Yeah.
and you're like, this sucks, bro. Like just get me to the end. Like these games don't matter.
I'm playing in Canberra. It's cold.
Yeah, like
Shout out to like Canberra
Hugh
fans.
McCluggage has got Hugh McCluggage has got long sleeves on. Like who cares?
Yeah.
About this game. Like, is it hard to stay motivated the whole year?
There's definitely a fatigue in there of some sort because we finished probably like top 2 in the last 3 years and 4th last year. So we know the finals obviously on the radar, but everyone's still we're all playing. Fags, it's hard to say this, but Fags like makes us play on that edge the whole time. Like we're playing like it's a grand final type game every week, and that works for us. But when we get to the finals time, we have that week off, and then it's like, oh, thank God it's here type thing. And then we're playing, the Melbourne Demons, the Richmonds of the world, and then we play against the Bulldogs and stuff. So we're always playing against some of the best teams. So we've just got to try and make sure that we learn from our past few years, and we can put our best foot forward, as I mentioned before. And when we go into finals, we're all refreshed and stuff, because there was a few niggles getting around recently, and we saw a few of our boys go down with hamstring and quad injuries or whatever it is. And I think where everyone's starting to mentally get fresh again, and we're excited because it's such a tight ladder this year. So we're still kind of playing for something. We don't know where we're going to finish, and there's so many teams around the 8 mark and above. So if we take our foot off the pedal for a minute, we could miss out on a double chance to play finals. So we're looking forward to that, and it feels like it's a bit of a vibe this year compared to the last few ones. That's for sure.
Awesome. Love that. Robbo, good luck for the rest of the season, mate. And for everyone else, check out RobVLOGS on YouTube. Just check out Mitch's his Instagram, wherever you're going to find him, mate. If you're looking for him online in any new media, you're going to find him.
Just don't
Robbo,
type
mate,
in Mitch Robinson NBA, because there's a Knicks player of the same name as me, and that's not me. So
Jeez, this footy player plays a lot of
yeah,
basketball.
wow, he's 7'2". It's like
He's not bad.
Yeah,
I thought he said he was 6'1".
yeah.
Thanks, mate.
No, thanks for having me, guys.
Robbo.
Really appreciate it. Love it.
Appreciate you, mate.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Robbo.
Cheers.